Hello everyone and welcome to the very 5th Don't Be Bored podcast. Today I'm going to talk to you about Catan popping up in cinemas, a relatively silly purchase, and maybe a little bit more. You'll have to keep your ears tuned and find out. So on to Catan. Well, Dan Hughes of internet fame of the Dice Tower, Sporadically Bored, Core Request and, well, much more. He's an internet titan, isn't he, in the board gaming sphere? Well, he posted an image up on one of the Facebook groups that he'd seen before the Dungeons and Dragons film an advert for Settlers of Catan, or Catan if you want for short. Now, that is a really interesting thing, and I think it's a general trend that we're actually seeing, that board games really are crossing over. And what I mean by that is not that every single game in board gaming hobby is going to become, centre spotlight. Not every family in the UK, or worldwide for that matter, needs a copy of, say, Brass Birmingham or Darwin's Journey or whatever in their collection. But there's going to be, I think, a trend in the next few years, especially with the weight of Asmodee really pushing Catan, Ticket to Ride and stuff like that really into the sort of centre limelight. There already are those games which are much more popular. But first of all, seeing an advert for a board game in a cinema, well, a lot of people are going to go and see the D&D film. They're probably already somewhat aware of board games or Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, I get that. But combine that with the fact that there's stores that I would never have expected, say, 5 years ago, to have a board game in it. Having them stocked not only on the shelves, but in some cases in the windows. And this isn't, like a board game shop. I'm talking Waterstones as an example in the UK. There's a Waterstones in the local city that I live kind of near, Chelmsford. It's a bookstore, for those of you that don't know what a Waterstones is. And, well, for a long period of time, yes, they've had some games. But recently, I've been walking past the one in Chelmsford, and it's had board games in one of the window displays. It's even had a pick of the month, or it lasted more than a month, but there were games in the window of a bookshop, of what is traditionally only ever been a bookshop. Yes, it eventually sort of had puzzles in it, and maybe you'd see the odd jigsaw puzzle in the window. Yes, maybe they had some anime manga books, but I never saw those in the window. And now they've got games, they've had them for a number of years. But to actually see a board game in a window display for a shop that's not a board game shop, everyone walking past is going to see them. The fact that you've got them popping up in cinemas and stuff like that, as Dan posted the picture to show, that's really cool. And I think the more someone sees something, eventually, if you've never played Monopoly, for instance, but you always keep seeing it at other people's houses on their shelf, eventually you might go, oh, maybe I'll give that one a go. And I think that could happen to Catan, Ticket to Ride, and Asmodee do really seem to be wanting to push these family games, because they're making their own, they're making it their own special line, it's their sort of high flyers, effectively, their top sellers, their family weight games, and they do seem to really be pushing them with adverts, getting them into stores that I wouldn't expect normally. I don't know, let me know in the comments section below if you've seen board games in a shop that you wouldn't have expected, not just like a game shop or maybe a charity shop or something like that, but a bookstore. That just seemed 10 years ago, definitely not. 5 years ago, probably not. It just seems to the tide be changing. And, well, there's so many great games out there, be it for families, for people that want more of a challenge, bigger, beefier games. Well, getting some games in front of them will at least be, oh, you like board games? What, like Catan? And then it's like, yeah, I do like Catan, but I also prefer these games to it, and stuff like that. It's just A really cool thing. But yeah, let me know, where's the weirdest type of shop that you've seen a board game on sale that you wouldn't have expected, and was it in the window? Anyway, let's move on to a board game that I have purchased. And yes, it was a ludicrous purchase. Yes, thankfully I got a bit of a discount, because otherwise Blood on the Clocktower is very, very expensive. We're talking well over £100 normally. And I got a cheeky little discount code from this online shop and thought, you know what? I've really enjoyed my plays on Blood on the Clocktower. There will be, at the moment it's not too often, but there will be a time where I have that number of people to play a social deduction game, and I would be kicking myself at that point if I didn't have Blood on the Clocktower in the collection. So it's a stupid purchase. It's going to stay on the shelf for a long time without being played. However, I'm really enjoying actually going through the rulebook, learning some of the workings of the game, because there were still a few questions after even a few games of like, oh, how exactly would that character work? Or I've not seen that character even from the basic script. I've not seen that character, and I kind of also wanted to know how some of the other bits and pieces worked. That's just part of the excitement, enjoyment I had for it. So I don't regret the purchase, to be fair. Not yet anyway. It's not sat on the shelf for that long without being played. Yes, it might. But at the moment, I don't regret what I'm calling my silly purchase of 2023, although it might be the silly purchase of, I don't know, Q2, of 2023. We'll find out. Maybe even of the month. Hopefully not that bad, though, because I've managed to, so far, avoid some of the Kickstarters that are going on, like Zombicide White Death. I thought, I might get enticed into that. Actually, that campaign at the moment's not done too much to drag me in, and I think therefore my wallet is safe from that one, and that would have been a big expense. So glad I've managed to dodge that, and yeah, I've made a silly purchase instead. But, well, Blood on the Clocktower was a fantastic game, happy to have it in the collection, very eager at some point to get it to the table. Might try and take it with me to UK Games Expo when a group of us are going to be meeting up to get it played there, even though I'm only going to be there for like a day. It will be worth it to get it played in the evening just to be that wow experience. I've got to really learn the game to do that, obviously, to be the storyteller, to give the people that I'm meeting up with that experience, but I think it could be really cool. So yes, my silly purchase is Blood on the Clocktower. And I started this episode talking about Dan Hughes, so why not end with a few acres of rubbish? This, if you haven't watched Sporadically Bored, is basically where they or their guest talks about something they've watched, read, whatever, really enjoyed. And I've just watched the final ever episode of Worth It. Worth It, if you don't know, is a very small show on YouTube where 2-3 people, friends effectively, they go to different restaurants, 3 restaurants at drastically different price points, and they pick a Worth It winner. Normally they go and it's all about one ingredient, so maybe they go to 3 different restaurants about rice. The first one, it's like $1 sushi, but it's fantastic. The next one, it's like a medium, like $25, but it's like this massive rice concoction. And then the final one's like $50, and you're like, what? And it's crazy, but they've got truffle and gold on it, and it's just insane. And it's a really good watch. It really is just really light-hearted, feel-good sort of program to watch on YouTube, so that is Worth It. I think it started on BuzzFeed. It's now on, I think the channel's called All About Food or something like that, but if you type in Worth It, you should be able to find it. What a great sort of mini series they've done. Absolutely worth a watch. So that was my few acres of rubbish, and a very short podcast this week, but I thought it would be fun. Hopefully, while you're listening to this, I am gaming. Hopefully, I have my fingers crossed that I'm going to be playing Earth. Yes, the latest hotness. I really do want to try it, and then, well, if it's good, it might accidentally slip into my basket, because it should be coming out later this month. So, fingers crossed it's good. Fingers crossed it's absolutely fantastic and I buy it instantly, or for my wallet's sake, it's okay. I'm glad I've played it, but I don't need to buy it. Not sure which I prefer. Apparently it plays in about an hour and has sort of those Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova, Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition vibes. If it's got all of that, damn, that's going to need to be in the collection. Let's find out. Anyway, that's one of the games I'm hoping to play while you're probably listening to this. And, well, yeah, let's wrap up. There's not point waffling on. Have a great day gaming. I hope you enjoyed this short one, and I'll see you next time.